So, today is the day that me and Headless Giant on the live stream Sunday were yapping about. The day that allegedly Cliff High's web bots, Sorry about that, just when you think you're all set. Anyway, today's the day of the alleged disclosure. Or at least the alleged event that forces disclosure, but we're also already in the midst of disclosure as we've seen these hearings in Congress with the Pentagon people, about their Immaculate Constellation program, right? And so I was watching the hearings again because there's been a lot of independent whatever channels on YouTube that are like, running the hearings like on a feed, which is fucking annoying because it's just live and I can't fucking go backwards to the beginning and things like that. Just like, wait, what did he just say? And trying to go back, it's like television, and that's not why I go on YouTube. But it was an easy thing that was right there, and I caught a little bit more than I had a chance to catch before, because this is fucking CNN levels of intrigue, not CNN, C-SPAN levels of intrigue. It's a fucking congressional hearing, but it's exciting because the whole fucking thing is seeding science fiction concepts that was scientific speculation by people involved with reverse engineering theories about UFOs and everything else. These hearings have mentioned the kind of shit that goes into the Art Bell paranormal fucking filing cabinet. All right, this is all very this is like Art Bell's revenge, the way these hearings are going out, right? So the possibilities of reverse engineered craft is discussed. The possibilities of off-world intelligence is discussed. The possibility that some of these unidentified aerial phenomenon are biological organisms, meaning living airships of some sort, living spacecraft. I can't tell you how many fucking channelers and other such have fucking said that the aliens say, yeah, we got fucking, our ships are alive. We grow them. They're smart. They're friends, in fact. Well, the good guys put it that way. Who knows how they enslave them on the evil races, right? But, you've got all of this stuff. However, although these things may all be the absolute truth, they want to control context. And a great way to control context is for us to have time to process what they said in their hearings. Give that time to be the authority in your mind of what you remember, and then demonstrate it through their blue beam projections, which is why I covered with Headless Giant the things that I covered, showing him the Industrial Surrealism YouTube channel, one of the oldest documenting fucking YouTube channels out there, going back to the deep annals, trying to avoid silly words, the deep annals of conspiracy side of YouTube, right? Because who would have thought it would have been important to take hours of documentation of just clouds, just all sorts of weird fucking shit for a cloud. Sumperman, how you doing, Sumperman? You're new around here. Good to see you. So all of this is completely devoid unless it's in the shit that they say. I can't tell you unless it's a classified scenario, right? Which I think the implication is supposed to be something along the lines of well, if I tell you this one little detail, it's going to raise too many questions about other things that I can't speak of. So, therefore, I can't answer that here because it answers too many other questions I can't answer. Right? And this is the goddamn story that, we get every fucking time with these hearings and everything the fuck else, right? And I want people to just understand that when you think about the quote implications of what these guys are doing, and you think about the fact that while you're hearing this, there isn't a concerted effort by the White House while we're hearing it to say anything in real time about this. Like, hey, we heard that about what they can't say. Before I leave office, this is Joe Biden mumbling over his bullshit, right? We're gonna fucking release, we're gonna release these particular documents, so that way, it's just like they like to play this weird little game where the Pentagon's doing all this okay and above board shit that your own Congress and the President of the United States doesn't know anything about. That's okay. We're not talking about the fact that the Pentagon does this all the time and that we can accept as an answer at a hearing as such, right? We don't set up these hearings to say, today is a day where your classified fucking shit doesn't matter. It's us. And it's time to go fucking public with it, because these are secrets that we were never approved, that we were never given approval to. It's just like, why is the Congress just learning about Immaculate Constellation? And what did they say? Did they say the Immaculate Constellation itself was an unacknowledged special access program, right? This has been going around for a long time. It's one of the many points that a lot of UFO people that I don't trust and don't like had gotten right about many of the things they were doing, right? People that were directly involved with the independent hearings on UFOs back in the day, who had retired or unofficial capacity level Congress people involved to kind of give it almost an honorary kind of sense, right? To give the subject matter a certain respect, and then there were so many details of so many things in history that were discussed, like the Rendlesham Forest case in England, and like just a number of things, right? A big question that everybody was asking themselves after that. It's like, how the hell is there? How the hell does the VA, the Veterans Administration, there's not supposed to exist sealed, classified or whatever, their medical records were of a certain status that had nothing to do with VA treatment stuff, right? Because all these guys were being treated for being exposed to technology that had deteriorated their health, that is off the books. And so they needed to leave their fucking symptoms of fucking suffering and death as a fucking government anomaly, to never be really released to anybody for national security. Let that fucker die. Even though they weren't even fucking experimenting on him with the fucking tech, and they knew his fate, they wouldn't fucking do a thing to help him. That's another fucking conversation that eventually needs to get fucking opened up, if we're gonna fucking be talking about these things retroactively now, and to hopefully fucking prevent them from happening in the fucking future. Just like we had to have the fucking 5G conversation, ask ourselves how fucking comfortable, how much informed consent do we have to this gig, right? we all know that informed consent don't mean shit in the fucking military. What we got here? Demunvers 56. Hi. And Matt Olsho. What's going on? So yeah, so all of this is getting into, this is the first time Congress is actually listening and taking seriously what has always been really serious ufology, phenomenological observation, discussions, questions, explorations of the sciences that explain the phenomenon if it were to be a form of tech that our minds could conceive of. We're having this entire conversation now. This entire conversation is in the active consciousness of Congress for the first time ever. There's something deeply wrong with the framework, because they're definitely telling us that what they are saying is that they don't know where this shit's coming from. So, if that's true, then this is a faction of the military that is cut off from the faction of intelligentsia and military that has allegedly been fucking working with these guys for a long ass time, good or bad. Unless all of that is just part of a government psyop cult phenomenon that will be made into a real thing, right? Like, one could say that Christianity was a government psyop cult that, that succeeded. That just depends on how far you want to take the conspiracies of the Gospels and Jesus, right? I can take them all the way. So, one of these guys, there's funny enough, there's two guys that channel that I listen to. And I keep everything in context to my disciplines in the mystery school. So, things are complicated, but also I don't know nothing that is against these guys in particular in my studies, right? So everybody knows I've cited Daryl Anka, Bashar of Asasani is channeled through him, and let's just say I have an inner knowing that whether Bashar is some sort of interdimensional entity or a gray hybrid for reals in where he was just saying that for our current understanding of consciousness at the time. Whether he's any of those things, I've definitely had him in my dreams and such, right? So, and I've had that history with Stephen Murrow, the medical institute. Like, for me, this is very real shit, right? So this other guy that I really like, that I don't have any of that connection to, but I'm very agreeable with the message because of how much it falls in line with, honestly, a lot of fucking, like Germanic and Greco-Roman pagan ideals, is Kalask, which is channeled by, oh my gosh, shoot. He's a Canadian guy from, like, the Baltic states, I think. Who I think maybe was even ex-military or whatever. And Kalask is like a collective of Draco reptilians that are good guys. I think that there's a handful of things that I don't think are correct that I'm going to respectfully not say anything about, just because it may be too conflicting with what I think is higher truths from my mystery school. But the members of Kalask that are channeled through him, the messaging is pretty clear that there's never going to be a frivolous alien spectacle. The aliens are not going to interfere whatsoever. Anything that pops up is going to be fucking psyops and lies, and all that stuff for our own governments with our own technology and yada yada yada. And so this is one of the High Reptilians. He's saying that the Pleiadians are bad guys, like Galactic Federation of Light and shit like that are bad guys. And I actually agree, and that is in accord with the Mystery School, right? So I don't know how things work in time and space, because I just know that there can be exceptions to the rules. I don't know enough about what's going on in the invisible as such. And these guys, this guy who channels this dude, these dudes, he's a real serious guy, big on honor and everything. Just like everything about his character, everything about his message, I like. Right? Is the exopolitical cosmological established claims that Kalask is making, or as Kalask has taught him, is that proper knowledge and wisdom? Is it authentic? Right? Because there's just a lot of conversations that just because something didn't turn up on all these sold timetables, including this timetable of Cliff High today. Canadian Awareness. Yes, Yes, or you looked it up while I was talking about it. Yes, Canadian Awareness channel. Whoever's running that, he channels the Kalask collective. And these good guys they're badasses though. Like he's talked about how he's watched them take an asshole who fucking was deeply like insulting, like on a soul level, to some of these guys, trying to bestow very, very special gifts on him, and for some reason he was very fucking negative and lashed out at them or whatever, and they fucking like astrally raped him or something like that, right? Like, because he was being a monster, as opposed to the guy himself who was there in the same psychic room as they were in the ethers, sitting in a council room having a conscious relationship with these guys, right? I wasn't there. I don't know how I feel about that being somewhere in natural law, that that you can astrally assault someone that way. Right? Which, this is why, like I said, I don't 100% know how I listened to it, and that not listen to like he was like talking about it. He didn't like go into any visceral explanation, but his tone of voice, right? But because he's explained, like, it was all right there. It's like, I was there in the same room, right? And he has like a very, I like his message, like overall about like what's up, about the kind of people to be, but also it's just like, you can tell this guy's ready to take up a goddamn fucking rifle and shoot you in the fucking head. This isn't love and light. It's love and light. It is love and light. That's the thing when you listen to it. But it's not, this isn't some fucking guy who's been cuckolded by angels, okay? This isn't some guy blissing out with Pleiadian overlords, right? According to him, these Draco reptilians have done nothing but given him personal power that he has upheld with responsibility. That I like. That sounds like what I'm in it for the gods for, right? Now you sub to him already. Yeah, there you go. Check the comments section. Here and there I've left comments. me and him have gone back and forth. Um, so uh, so I like what I can learn from that place. Everything is Axis Mundi to the Temple of the White Dragon, right? Because that's serious as a heart attack. That's my primary discipline, focal point. My mountaintop to climb is guided by the wisdom of the Mystery School. And so hearing Kalask, the saying like that's helpful, because like that's telling people a much healthier way to deal with the reality being manipulated in front of you, or your perception of it being manipulated in front of you, right? You have to now be proactive, have your own agency, take charge, but you're in a good spot nonetheless under these conditions. So make sure you watch that interview I did with Headless Giant to get this context, because the big thing we talk about, which has been a technology that's been out for a hot minute, but wasn't out, at least not in a developmental stage, publicly processed or whatever, was the 7D hologram. And there's a lot of holograms out there that aren't 7D holograms, that they're calling 7D holograms, because they're actually playing with augmented reality, which is neat and impressive. But I'm talking about holograms that are semi-solids. They have pressure resistance, so there's a pressure differential of density where the image is projected. So it's not just three-dimensional. The texture element bumps it up to 7, right? The texturization process, and I don't know what other elements make it beyond 3. I suppose you could call a moving hologram 4D, but then you still got 5 and 6 to ask for, and then what the hell is 7 after that, right? I don't remember the details. Not as important. We stayed focused. The important thing is to demonstrate to you that here's what you know of 7D holographic technology that isn't in the military industrial complex's unacknowledged special access program. We are living in the most interesting of times. Whether the world, quote unquote, changes sometime between now and the end of next year, like the way that it changed after 2020. If something like that happens on this kind of level, on a level that you can't really let go of if it's trueness, right? Like, we changed our world because we wanted to accept a mass hallucination, right? And will we accept the next mass hallucination? Will things actually go really well because they're going to try and pull this off so soon after they did really poorly with the other PSYOP? right? And will this event be a mask, a distraction, whether it be real or not or unreal, for something else? And will there be a distraction while this is happening? And because you'll notice in the conspiracy community, whatever you think is most important, the other thing is the distraction, right? So if it's the economy, stupid, UFOs are distraction. If it's a war, then the economy's the distraction, right? You see how that goes? It almost becomes a futility to just run around calling everything a fucking distraction because you think you've got a pretty fucking solid prediction. And then you're just waiting to accidentally be right and pretend that you know what the fuck you're talking about. You know, that this is why I bothered before I knew anything about anything and wasn't going to try and understand the economy too well. I fucking like Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff, he predicted the 2008 financial crash, and he was Ron Paul's guy for a hot minute. And so, you know, I listened to him, and then I got sick and tired of listening to him as his all his other predictions didn't really work. And then it didn't become interesting to hear, you know, to hear where he was at anymore, right? Because it seemed like he must have just gotten lucky. But anyway, it keeps going mute. Is it doing that for anyone else? Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if that's doing that for anyone else. I didn't notice a signal buffering, which might have done that. But anyway, I'm done. I'm going to smoke a quick bowl. I'm going to go and tackle what I assume is going to be another chill day in the warehouse. All right, I'll catch you later.